everybody, and welcome back to another fine episode of Wrestling with My Sanity. Right off the top here, I wanted to apologize to everybody. I was studying for a big test I had the last couple weeks, so I did miss, obviously, as you could see, the last 2 weeks or so of Monday Night Raw and such, but we are back this week with a big week in the WWE. We are here to review Monday Night Raw from last night today, and also I will be reviewing probably Thursday or Friday morning Elimination Chamber, and then we will be full ahead on WrestleMania predictions and such. So we will get those out. I'm planning on doing a very early WrestleMania predictions and stuff, so we will see what that entails. But we are here today to talk about Monday Night Raw, guys, and we'll get right into it. So first thing we had was a Logan Paul promo, and this was pretty good. I mean, it's what you expect from Logan Paul. He is very good, weirdly, at obviously in the ring. He can do all the moves and stuff, and he's honestly pretty good on the mic too. But it's hard to care about Logan Paul, guys. I mean, the guy's been around for a cup of coffee. He's just now becoming a full-time performer. So it's the fact that he can do all the moves doesn't make him a guy that's ever going to be over with the fans just because he's an outsider and all the shit he's done on his own in his personal life and on his YouTube channel before he came to the WWE. So this was fine. It wasn't bad. I mean, the guy's got talent. Like I said, he can talk. So his promo was fine. He was just talking about how he's going to go to the Elimination Chamber, how he plans to win and derail everybody's match. Yeah, he said at one point he's facing 3 trash cans and John Cena, knowingly leaving CM Punk out of that. And then CM Punk's music hits, and they have a little bit of a back and forth, and Punk kind of goes at him. Logan Paul is kind of talking with Ohio. He's like, I don't get it, guys. He's like, why do you think I suck so much? Because they always tend to throw Logan Paul on every Ohio show, which being an Ohio native, I can't stand. Every fucking time I go to an event in Ohio, fucking Logan Paul's got to be there. So, Triple H, buddy, I'm telling you, we don't need to see fucking Logan Paul next time you come around to Cleveland. I promise you, we'll be just fine without him. But this was fine, guys. Nothing great here. Of course, CM Punk's amazing on the mic as per usual, but this was a pretty good opening segment. It was nice to get a different change of pace from Jey Uso coming out every week and then doing his yeet thing. I know last week it was a little bit different, but this was fine for what it was. And then right after this, we had our first match of the night, guys, which was a triple threat between Penta, Pete Dunne, and Ludwig Kaiser. This was a pretty good match, I'd say. All 3 guys can work very well. I was kind of shocked, to be honest, that Kaiser ended up coming out on top here. I thought Penta would, but it makes sense why it was a triple threat. Penta didn't have to eat the pin or anything crazy like that. So this was a pretty good match. Nothing too much to cover here. I know we're kind of moving fast today, guys. I just wanted to get a quick recap out. This wasn't really a super crazy episode of Raw. The more eventful stuff happened in the last 2 hours. That's why I'm kind of glazing over the first hour stuff. The first hour was honestly kind of boring, and then I thought the show really picked up. So after this, we had a segment where Jackie Redmond was interviewing Rhea Ripley, and I just want to once again give Jackie Redmond her flowers here, guys, because in this segment and another one in particular later in the night, which I'll cover here in a minute, she was fantastic and continues to be. Just the way she interviews people, her facials when she's doing the interviews. I mean, just her facial expressions. She really sells stuff with her eyes and her face. So great job by Jackie Redmond. But this was basically your normal rah-rah speech from Rhea Ripley. As big of a Rhea Ripley fan as I am, I know she's getting a lot of hate online right now. I think she really does need to start adding more stuff to her promos. I think Rhea is obviously one of the most complete women's wrestlers we've ever seen. But it does seem like she comes out and does the same babyface promos week after week after week. And thus far, since she has been a glorified babyface, I don't think she's been nearly as confident, and I don't think her character has been as good as her heel work was when she was a part of the Judgment Day. So, but this was fine, guys. I mean, she kind of came out and just talked about her dominance over the last 5 years in WWE. And then Io Sky showed up, said a couple words, how she plans on winning the title, and then moving on to WrestleMania. But this isn't going to happen. This will be a good match next week. I mean, Rhea versus Io should be an absolute barn burner. I'm hoping that'll be the main event next week because that'll be a damn good in-ring performance. But a good little segment here, guys. After this, again, we got another throwaway match. We got the LWO versus the New Day. ever since their big heel turn with Big E, where they were kind of chirping at him, and Big E's like, "Come on, guys, everything we've been through, let's not throw this away." Ever since then, really, like the New Day hasn't had much steam at all, in my opinion. And I mean, their new heel entrance music is good, but I'm having a hard time caring, guys. And the LWO, I mean, it very much feels like that they're just there. They're getting paid until their contract ends, and they're not going to be with WWE anymore because nobody gives a fuck about the LWO. I mean, these guys come out, get squashed every week, or they just come out just to fill TV time. So this was fine. New Day obviously won. They're not going to have New Day lose to the LWO. This was whatever. I mean, very boring match in my opinion. And after this is when I thought the show really started to pick up here, guys. We got Akira Tozawa versus Gunther. Gunther came out, started talking a bit how he had a picked opponent ready, and Akira Tozawa comes out, and I think we all knew how this was going to go with Akira Tozawa, but it is good to see Gunther finally get a wrestling match in on Raw. Um, the last few weeks, I have been more than usual a little more critical of Triple H with his booking of the women in particular and his champions. Like when you have paying consumers like me who go to all the live events in Cleveland, and I know plenty of other people that go to events as well. We want to see the best talent wrestling, like we got with CM Punk and Sami Zayn in Cleveland. That was awesome. Do more of that. We want to see Gunther wrestling on TV. We don't want to see Gunther in backstage segments every week or cutting promos. We want to see Rhea Ripley wrestling on Raw. I mean, these are your world champions, guys. Let's take a page from Seth Rollins here and actually show up to work and work. I don't want to see Rhea Ripley have one match on Raw in fucking 4 months. Like, come on. She's your world champion. Let's have her out there every other week, every third week wrestling. Like, let's make a regularity out of this. I want to see more of this. So Gunther was in there, kind of ran down to Zawa a bit, but said, "Here, this is your chance to earn my respect." And the match started, and Tozawa got some offense in. He jumped on him right away, and then Gunther just blasted him with a big boot to the face, kind of Undertaker style. And Tozawa sold his ass off, did a big flipped, pretty much ass over tea kettle, and landed on his stomach. And then it went on for a little bit longer. Gunther hit him with a big chop, and Tozawa folded like a bad sack of potatoes. Tozawa got a little bit more offense in, and then eventually Gunther hit him with the power bomb. Then played around with him a bit. He hit the 1-2, pulled him up off the mat last second, and then put him in his sleeper hold. And that was a pretty cool thing, just because of how short Tozawa is and the size difference there. Gunther had him really in the sleeper hold and had him held up until the ref did the arm thing where he drops his arm and saw he was out, so he rang the bell. But very good segment here, I thought, guys. This was interesting, something different. This is wrestling as old as time, babyface versus heel. You got your underdog, your David versus Goliath going on here. So this was very good. The more Gunther is getting into this match and feud between Jey Uso, I think this storyline that I wasn't originally invested in, I am now invested in. And this just goes to show, guys, there's always going to be stuff on shows, whether it's WWE, whether it's Impact Wrestling, or whatever, it's AEW. There's always going to be stuff that you don't agree with booking wise, but I judge everybody to keep an open mind because you can always be won over. I know a lot of people come in to certain feuds and storylines with their mind already made up, where I'm not going to like this. It should have been Gunther versus Punk. It should have been Gunther versus Rollins or something like that. And I'm never going to be that. I told you guys vocally, I thought it was dumb that Jey Uso won the Rumble right after losing Saturday night's main event a week before that. But I am here for it. I think Jay's done a pretty good job so far. Gunther obviously is great. I do have a feeling, and we'll talk about this more in my WrestleMania predictions. I do think Jey Uso is obviously going to beat Gunther, although I think it would be a very good idea if he didn't. I think it would be one of the few rare times where it'd be a great idea to have Gunther retain over Jey at WrestleMania, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. Anyway, after this, guys, Otis came out, kind of bowed up to Gunther a little bit, and then Gunther laughed at him, ran out of the ring, and then as he has his back turned, Gunther runs back in, takes out Otis, and then Jey Uso's music hits, and he runs off Gunther. So overall, like I said, this was kind of a turning point in the show for me. I thought this was a very good match. It was quick. It made sense. All the psychology was very good. So this segment gets an A from me. And after this here, we had a women's intercontinental championship match between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai. And again, something I've been harping on for weeks. I am glad to see Lyra Valkyria finally getting on TV again, having matches. She seems to be getting more over and over every week, and I am glad. I had a bad feeling coming into this that Dakota Kai was going to win this match, and it was going to piss me off. Although I very much like Dakota Kai, I would have been very mad if they just took the strap off of Lyra already. I mean, you need to keep giving her wins and keep stacking her up. Let's use her more on TV, guys. Again, two people I didn't see live outside of Lyra was in the crowd, but two people I didn't see wrestle on Monday Night Raw in Cleveland were your two mid-card champions, Braun Breaker and Lyra Valkyria. Why are you not utilizing them weekly like you do at Chelsea Green? I mean, Lyra's pretty much been relegated to the crowd or like a crappy little 30-second backstage segment. And Braun Breaker, really, for as great as he is, we haven't seen enough out of him either. So let's continue to utilize these mid-card champions we have here. And we had another rematch between these two, Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai, and this was pretty good, guys. I don't think this was as good as the match they had a month or so ago, but it was still a pretty good bout. You had some good back and forth. Dakota Kai at one point hit her kick on Lyra Valkyria in the corner, and then a couple minutes later, they were battling in the other corner, the top left corner of the ring, and Dakota was fighting out from underneath, and then Lyra gets her and hits her with her finish for the 1-2-3. So thankfully, Lyra Valkyria does retain, and I hope this is a turning point for her. I hope we continue to see her get pushed. I do think the potential match for her is still possibly Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. But for that to happen, guys, we're going to have Becky return here soon, whether it's at the Elimination Chamber, whether it's on the Raw falling out after the Elimination Chamber. But we're going to have to see something happen there because right now, where we are at, I think with the final boss coming back, and we'll talk more about this in my Elimination Chamber predictions. I wanted to get on here and talk about The Rock with you guys briefly, but I didn't have a chance to hop on because, again, I just had my test this past weekend, so I was studying hard for that. But I think things could get a little more dicey this year. It was always unpredictable with Triple H going into this year's WrestleMania, but I feel like some of the feeling has not been there as far as the excitement levels for WrestleMania. The only feuds really that have gotten any significant push so far have been the Tiffany and Charlotte feud, and even that's been minimal. Like there's been some good stuff between them, but not a ton. And then we've gotten some good build from Gunther, and Jey Uso has been the best build so far. But outside of that, guys, what are we, a month and a half from WrestleMania? So we really got to pick up the pace here. We got to get some excitement going. It is unpredictable. We got to get some good feuds nailed down here, and we really got to start booking them because if you end up choosing to go with the Rhea versus Bianca, if Bianca comes out of the chamber, you got to build to that. That's a big dream match that people have wanted to see, myself included, for a long time. And I don't want you to give me a 4-week shitty build where Rhea's coming out and cutting the same shitty promos week after week, and there's no heat between her and Bianca in a face versus face match. So we'll see how that shakes out. But this was a good match, guys. I mean, Lyra Valkyria is great. Dakota Kai is very good in the ring as well. So I think these are definitely two of the women you can continue to get behind and push, whether it be for the Intercontinental Women's Championship on Raw or in a tag team division. I like these two women a lot. So I like what they did here. After this here, guys, we had a match between Braun Breaker and Dominic Mysterio. Again, kudos for Triple H for actually putting Braun on the show and having him wrestle. I thought this was a good match. Again, another David versus Goliath thing where Braun Breaker got the upper hand pretty early. He had one sequence where he was just flying around the ring. I mean, the guy moves at a fucking he looks like Sonic the Hedgehog out there hitting the ropes, and then he hit Dominic with a big clothesline. And then, of course, as per usual, Finn Balor and Carlito get involved, the Judgment Day. But I think, was this the disqualification match? Yeah, it was. I was going to say, eventually they all kind of swarmed in and jumped on Braun and started beating the crap out of him, and then Braun got the upper hand, hit Carlito with a big spear, threw Dominic over, and then he kind of had a stare off with Finn Balor as Finn kind of smirked at him and left the ring. But Braun Breaker, once again, guys, I mean, what can you say? This guy is future world championship material. I think hopefully he'll have a good match at WrestleMania. I hope we have some good builds for the non-title feuds at WrestleMania this year. But super excited to see where he goes, whether it is a Penta match or a AJ Styles match. We'll see where that goes. I wouldn't even mind seeing Finn Balor eventually break off from the Judgment Day and see what he can do as Demon Finn again. But this was a good segment again, guys. I like this match. Nothing crazy here, but After this, we did have Cody Rhodes coming out, so it was a cool little pop for Cincinnati. Not used to seeing Cody Rhodes on Raw, obviously, anymore. But Cody did come out, and Cody was talking about what had happened with The Rock. um, he didn't talk much about it, but he did say he has a couple more days to think about what happened between The Rock on SmackDown. Obviously, if you guys did not watch, I will briefly recap it. The Rock came out. It was a very weird promo. I thought it was good. I think it got done what it needed to, and it kind of left it on a cliffhanger, but it was kind of odd the way Rock phrased things. He said he wanted Cody's soul. He wants Cody to be better than what he is right now, even though he's been a standard bearer for WWE. He has been the flagpole guy, the John Cena, so to speak, of his era. He wants him to be more. He's like, Cody, I want you to be my champion. He's like, I want you to be this. He's like, you can reach a level above this. He's like, I can give you anything you've ever dreamed of. He's like, I'm The Rock. He's like, I keep saying he, fucking pronouns. You guys probably don't know who I'm talking about. The Rock was talking about how he wants Cody to do all this stuff, and how The Rock can give Cody everything he's ever wanted, whether it's fame. He can give him more of a social media following. Everything Cody's worked and he continues to scratch for, he can give to Cody without all the hustle. And at the end of the segment, Cody just seemed very perplexed, and The Rock kind of slinked his way out of the ring. But he did say that he will be in Toronto for the Elimination Chamber. And as far as what they didn't include on air on the promo, as far as I could tell with The Rock, this was kind of a last second thing. I think he literally woke up one morning and was like, you know what, F it. I want to be a part of WrestleMania. I want to have something to do at WrestleMania this year. And even though there's rumors going around that he did accept a role in one of Martin Scorsese's movies, as far as I can tell, he literally just he woke up and wants to be a part of WrestleMania. So he kind of inserted his foot in that. And I think Triple H has been hearing some of the feedback as well, that a lot of people don't feel like the build to Mania has been great so far. So he's like, hell yeah, come on in. Let's flip this thing on its head, and let's get the people intrigued on what we could possibly do here in Toronto and moving out of the Elimination Chamber. Because after the Chamber, guys, I don't think we have any. If I'm mistaken, we might have a Saturday night's main event again or something like that, but nothing big ever happens on that show. And this will be the last big pay-per-view going into WrestleMania. So hopefully we get a good segment between The Rock and Cody. But anyways, the Cody was talking about the offer that The Rock gave him. And then Seth Rollins comes out, and they had a very good back and forth between the two of them. And Seth was pretty much just saying, what the hell are you doing, man? He's like, I went through everything at WrestleMania. I was your shield. I literally was out there on one damn leg with a bad back to make sure you won that WWE championship. And Cody's like, you know what? You're right. He's like, you were the MVP of WrestleMania 40. You were there. He's like, you obviously lost your belt to Drew. Or not. Yeah, he lost it to Drew, and then the cash-in happened to Priest. But he went through that and then still had another tag match. He was in the main event tag match with The Rock, Roman, and Cody Rhodes. He's like, you were there for me and all this, but he's like, this is a decision I have to make. And just overall, guys, a very good segment. Cody said, or excuse me, not Cody, but Seth said, he's like, I may not, he's like, don't make me hate you, Cody Rhodes. So we will see what happens in the altercation between Cody and The Rock. I really don't think they're going to turn Cody. I mean, Cody's still their biggest baby face outside of Jey Uso. They have. I feel like if they're going to do this corporate angle, which could be interesting, somebody that's fighting on The Rock's behalf and is going to be The Rock's champion, it would be maybe a CM Punk, a guy that I would love to see turn heel, because I think he does his best work as a heel. Or even we could do Seth Rollins again, but I think the more interesting route would be Drew McIntyre, with everything Drew's talked about. So I think Drew could possibly join forces with The Rock, or even, like I said, outside chance Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes. But CM Punk, CM Punk would be my top choice for that. And I did watch, guys, the press conference after SmackDown on Friday night, and once again, very weird, I thought. I mean, The Rock kind of talked about how him and Cody never have to really get into the ring and have a match. And if that's the case, what the hell is the point of all this? Unless you're going to have The Rock just be there and kind of be the guy that's in the ear of somebody he takes over to try to make his champion. I don't understand the point of hyping everybody up if The Rock's not going to actually be on WrestleMania. So we'll see how it shakes out. I have a feeling The Rock might have a match. Roman Reigns is still the one piece that, in my mind, is like, okay, where's Roman going to fit in all of this? Because he is not in the Elimination Chamber match. he's gonna be on the card at WrestleMania. So does The Rock somehow end up still feuding with Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns? I mean, does The Rock get Roman at WrestleMania? I don't know. CM Punk still has that Paul Heyman favor to call upon, so maybe CM Punk wins the chamber and CM Punk gets Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and then he calls in his favor to Paul, and he's like, "Hey, Paul, whatever you do," he's like, "I want you to keep The Rock out of my business with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania." So maybe he calls Paul and is like, "Hey, Heyman, get call your boy Roman, have Roman take out The Rock and handle Rock at WrestleMania." So maybe with CM Punk using his favor, we get night one main event Roman versus The Rock, and night two we get CM Punk versus Cody. I mean, what more of a marquee matchup can you get than that? That's two fucking great main events. So maybe we get that. That's something to look forward to. But a very good segment here between Cody and Seth, guys. This was honestly the best segment of the night, in my opinion. Right after this, we had our main event. We had a women's tag team title match between Bianca Belair and Naomi, the champions, versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And this was a very, very good match. This was my match of the night. Um, I have been a huge Liv Morgan fan, as I've said on here for the last couple years, guys, and it's really cool to see how much she has blossomed and come along since she won the SmackDown's title, and then she obviously had the good World Championship reign there before Rhea took over, and they won this match, so they are the new the women's tag team champions, Judgment Day, Raquel and Liv, and just from an in-ring perspective, guys, I wanted to give Liv her flowers too because she's come a long way. I mean, I remember watching her back in the day, even when the Riot Squad broke up and Ruby Riot went to AEW, and then Valhalla, obviously now as she's known, went off paternity leave to have her child and everything. And Liv wasn't that great in the ring, and she was obviously looking for her character a bit back then, and she has really just blossomed. I think she's gotten a lot better on the mic or her in ring work. She sells her ass off. It seems like every Monday, guys, she's the one last week that was out there eating a pin to Io Sky and selling her ass off. Her and Io have great chemistry, and I thought they had great chemistry in this match between Bianca and Naomi as well. And she really just takes a beating out there. She's not afraid to take the crazy bumps. She obviously is one of the smaller women. She was the smallest woman in this match by far. So she kind of is the one that gets ragdolled around a bit, being the kind of shit-eating grin heel that is the undersized woman in the match. But I mean, this was great, guys. Dominic obviously had a big part of it. He helped put her foot on the ropes at the last minute, and then Liv went for the Oblivion a couple times. It seems like that move's getting um, countered a lot more often now since the Rhea Ripley match, where I think it was the initial episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix where Rhea caught her and kind of looked at her and blew her a kiss and threw her down and riptided her for the 1, 2, 3. But cool finish. The very end was a little weird with Naomi getting, I think it was Raquel like kicked her on the post and she fell and kind of like fell ass over tea kettle and Liv just pinned her for the 1, 2, 3. But big pop here, guys, and something that I think was the right decision coming out of this because we have obviously on Saturday we have the Elimination Chamber. So if you were going to have Bianca versus Rhea Ripley, you needed to get those belts off of Bianca. So you have now Naomi and Bianca who are still kind of a team as far as we know. We didn't get any more clarification on the Jade Cargill thing, which I think we really need. I mean, that's been going on for too damn long. I think you're getting to the point of dragging it out too long where people don't give a damn anymore. So just give us the answers on what happened. But now you have Naomi and Bianca in there with no titles. Liv is now in there with a tag team title. I think of all of the 6 women in the match, Liv by far has the least likely odds of winning that match. I mean, coming out of her long-standing feud with Rhea, I just think there's no mountain high enough, guys, that Liv has a chance of winning the Elimination Chamber, barring, or no, I'm sorry, the title match is on Monday next week, so yeah, it wouldn't even make a difference if, I mean, Liv could win, I guess, if Io wins on Monday, and then you could do Liv versus Io at WrestleMania, but I don't think that's their plans. So I do think Rhea retains obviously on Monday, even though I hope we have something better for Io because she's great. I think you should have put her in this chamber match somewhere. But it'll be interesting to see, guys. We have new women's tag team champions in the Judgment Day. I think you can really get the ball rolling now with this Who Attacked Jade Cargill stuff. And we'll get into more detail on what I think will happen with the Elimination Chamber because that could be a very interesting pay-per-view / PLE, whatever the hell they call it these days. So overall, guys, I thought this was It was an okay episode of Raw. I thought, like I said, it really picked up after the first hour and a half or so. Once the Gunther match kind of came on, the first hour was just a lot of nothing, in my opinion, a lot of throwaway matches. So I think we need to start utilizing more this TV time we have in the next 6 weeks until WrestleMania. I think Triple H really needs to start capitalizing more. We need to see more of our mid card champions on both shows. We really need to start getting to the build here, guys, because coming out of the chamber, we will have what our matches are going to be, whether it is a John Cena versus a Cody Rhodes, whether it is, like I said, a CM Punk versus a Cody Rhodes, and then you have The Rock versus a Roman Reigns on night one or something. That would be awesome. Um, outside chance Seth Rollins wins. I don't think that's as likely, but I haven't heard as much triple threat talk as we were hearing a couple weeks ago between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. I think that may be off the table. I've heard a little bit about Logan Paul versus CM Punk, which I think would be fucking stupid. Do not give CM Punk Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That's the fucking biggest disrespect ever. I mean, you need to have a bigger marquee matchup for one of your main baby faces in CM Punk. So I think that would be very stupid if they did that. But otherwise than that, guys, I will be back with you on probably Friday morning now that I'm thinking about it because I work late on Thursday. But I will try to record as soon as I can on Friday so you guys have all of Friday and all of Saturday up until the chamber starts in Toronto to listen to that. I will give you my predictions. And as always, signing off, Austin.